Good evening, Decatur Central Class of 2020.
Friends, family, and faculty.
We want to start off by saying congratulations. What an honor and privilege it is to be celebrating with you during such an unprecedented time.
Our senior year may have ended abruptly,
but we believe every one of us has risen to the challenge and is ready to take on the future.
So here's to you. So here's to you, Class of 2020.
Let's get this party started.
Let's get this party started.
Hello seniors and loved ones of those graduating today. I'm glad we're getting an opportunity to celebrate such an important day in our lives, even if you have to be 6 feet away from each other and I have to talk to you through a screen. I want to thank the school for putting all this together and DCHS Live for streaming the ceremony on Facebook for others to view. I'm Jack Sells in the Class of 2020 Salutatorian, but only because 2 people tied for Valedictorian. Because of that, I try finding a more accurate title. According to the first page results on Google though, there is no official term for a person that becomes Salutatorian because of a tie. That made me start to wonder if I should come up with the title myself. I have been trying to find a way to immortalize my name forever, and since none of the restaurants around want to name a sandwich after me, I thought this may be my opportunity. Ultimately, I decided against that and instead went to the second page results. It was there that I found a school in Mississippi that uses the title Historian for the senior ranked third. I liked it and have since unofficially adopted it. I think it also technically means I know more about history than Mr. Griffith, but I'm not 100% sure about that. In the vein of my new made-up title of Historian, I figured I'd go back in time a few years. Because I'm the oldest of my siblings, I didn't know much about high school, and it wasn't until middle school that I learned what exactly a valedictorian was. Being the cocky little preteen that I was when I heard about it, I decided that I was going to be it. But apparently there were 2 other people that had the same idea. Now, some may argue this story would be better if I actually achieved my goal, and they're probably right, but many goals aren't attained. In fact, it is my official statement that I didn't become valedictorian on purpose just so that I could share this message. It is okay not to achieve a goal. The important thing is to keep setting goals and trying. Now I will say that if your goal is to play in the NBA and you can't dunk, you may want to adjust your goal a little. And to be clear, when I say adjust your goal, I'm not just talking about lowering the rim. To continue the theme of history, I thought I'd also look back a little in the last 4 years. A lot has happened while we've been in high school. I'm not sure if there are more Marvel movies or dance moves. Personally, my favorite Marvel scene has been the Avengers do the mannequin challenge. Toys R Us closed their doors and kids flocked to the new social media platform TikTok, which is what the Circle of Life in The Lion King is about. Football made a state, softball won state. I got free ice cream for having perfect attendance 1 month. All of these things were equally significant. With all this change that happened around us, we ourselves changed as well. We all probably made goals, even if they were subconsciously, related to how we wanted to change. Some of us may have met them while others didn't. And whether or not you did, this time we have now, before we move on to the next step in our lives, can be used to evaluate these goals and our success. Maybe you met your goals and need to continue what you're doing, or you didn't and need to figure out what to do differently. Yet another possibility is you did meet your goals, but you didn't like the end result. These are conclusions I encourage you to come to so you can continue growing as a person. Whether doing this evaluation brings positive memories or negative memories, the important thing is that you find what you learn from it. Then you can put it behind you. How your high school experience was doesn't really matter. What does matter is we have the opportunity to start clean and we should all take it. I have no doubt in my mind that the class of 2020 will achieve many of the goals they set and will have a positive impact on those around them. As I end my speech, I want to recognize some of the people that have been instrumental in my life. I'm extremely grateful for the family I have. My grandparents, aunt, and uncle have been great examples of how to live a loving Christian life. I've always been supported by my parents and I look up to them, even if physically they have to look up to me now. I've had some great teachers here at Decatur, Mrs. K. Smith, Mr. Bidding, Ms. Swanson, and Mr. Adler, to name a few, as well as coaches, Rogie, Josh, and of course the one and only Brad Gillum. Most importantly, above my family, teachers, and coaches, I am so incredibly thankful for my Lord and Savior Jesus. He's not only the reason I'm alive today, but the reason my life has meaning. In closing, it can be easy to just go through the motions, but I want to encourage you to instead set some goals so you can find as much purpose as possible. And now, I've always wanted to say this, and I'm not even sure what it means, but Godspeed, Class of 2020, Godspeed. Oh, and I feel bad for what I said about Mr. Griffith at the beginning of my speech. He's a very smart man.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, friends, family, teachers, students, and most of all, the graduates of the Class 2020. I would like to start off by saying thank you to Decatur Township School for Excellence, Decatur Central High School, and any other Decatur staff and faculty members who have helped give us our 2020 graduation. On this day, June 11, 2020, we as fellow graduates end a chapter of our lives, but also open up a new one. For some of us, that could be attending the military, college, or even just a workforce. Throughout the last 4 years of our high school experience, we made memories, made friends, but also we had a second family. As we continue on our own paths, we'll not forget the people who were close to us, but instead we'll continue to get close to others on our way through our journey. It seems like just a few months ago, we were in our freshman classrooms, goofing off, and for some of us not doing schoolwork. We were exploring our limits with teachers and, well, with each other too, so we could see how far we can get away with something. But let me remind you, we didn't get far. Many of us would not have the friends we have now, nor the achievements we would have had and the opportunities if we had not landed at DTSE. The class of 2020 is strong and determined. We set our minds to do something and we accomplished them. March 13, 2020, we were declared to not attend school because of COVID-19. Not only did it impact us as a class, but it impacted some memories we couldn't have. But beyond that struggle, we were strong enough to pull through. And now look, we have made it. This is our one-of-a-kind ceremony. Nothing has been easy, and where you plan to go from here on out might not be easy either. But it will become a part of us. Our struggles, our victories, will be the markings of our life to show us we don't give up. I like to state a quote. Everything that made that giant tree is already contained inside this tiny little seed. All it needs is some time, a little bit of sunshine and rain, and voila. Now you might not feel like you can do much now, but that's just because, well, you're not a tree yet. You have to give yourself some time. You're still a seed. Flick, A Bug's Life. I use this quote not only because we all can use a little Disney at this moment, but because this quote can be used in many situations. When you're going through your next journey and you feel like you can't do it, remember, you're just at a small seed stage, and to grow to the beautiful tree that you are, you must grow by learning and practicing. Just don't give up. As we come here to our final event as a class, I hope we will see these years in life as a blessing. Every single person out here today is here for us, for our accomplishments. Let's not walk away from here today without saying thank you to the staff who had to deal with our foolishness, our childlike behaviors, our smart comments or our comebacks, our funny jokes, or even just us venting our problems. They stood by us through good times and our worst times. The most we can do is say thank you. We told our story, we left our memories with teachers, we left impressions for other classmates. Our time has come today not to say goodbye because the class of 2020 won't ever say goodbye. But instead, we are here to tell our story to others as we allow the next fellow graduates to come tell us theirs. It's been a wonderful journey here in Decatur with my fellow classmates. The class of 2020 will continue to strive, to love, to cherish every single moment, every member, every challenge they receive throughout their next journey. As we walk today as a class, as a family, let's make this last unique and one-of-a-kind memory as we receive our diploma. Thank you, Decatur, for being our family.
I wanted to start off by saying thank you. On behalf of the entire class, thank you to the faculty and parents throughout Decatur Township that watched us grow and helped us learn. I'm grateful to call you my former educators and now my Facebook friends. And to the class of 2020, congratulations. A few decades ago, some of our family members couldn't even dream of finishing 13 years of education. And in case you forgot, we all did it a month early. I'd like to refrain from dwelling on recent events, but given that it is our daily reality, I feel that it must be acknowledged. Not only is our current situation unprecedented, it has completely altered our sense of normalcy. No matter how badly we don't want to, we are forced to adapt. It is an example of change in its most feared form. Recently, I've realized that the class of 2020 responds to change in a way unlike all generations before us. We weren't given the opportunity to fear change. In many ways, our class actually embodies the word. We began our education with math workbooks and typing classes on computers that we'd now refer to as dinosaurs. Somewhere along the way, we managed to seamlessly transition to iPad-based learning and online standardized testing. We often change school history. We are a class of record holders, state runner-ups, and state champions. These successes are in all categories: athletics, fine arts, and academics alike. We changed the image of our district's students and have been deemed one of the smartest groups to ever pass through Decatur Central High School. In these ways, we've proven ourselves capable of adapting to whatever life throws our way. But I challenge you all to go deeper. We can take control of these changes and even create them ourselves. We hold the power to change our future. Allow this to serve as your cliche reminder that if you don't like something going on in the world, change it. Through politics, through science, through art, and more. In all honesty, I have yet to meet a group of people more capable of changing the world. It may not come easily, but it will come with time. Though you may not feel the need to change the entire world, you can always change yours. Change your relationships by turning more acquaintances into friends. Change the way you react by acknowledging that disappointment doesn't have to equal failure. Change your spending habits, your daily routine, or your water intake. You can decide to make this type of change on any given day, and most importantly, it is always within your control. It's important to remember that our changes, big or small, will make an impact just the same. Leaving high school, our paths will all be different. None of us know the names of every graduate within this class, but I hope that through our actions, we will be able to identify each other as former peers regardless. The class of 2020 is unique in its persistence and heart. I challenge you to keep this legacy alive. Continue to be resilient and take change as an opportunity. When you can, make changes for yourself.
I'm not gonna lie, being valedictorian is great until the point where you have to sit down and actually write a speech. Think about it, why on earth would anyone actually have a genuine interest in writing a speech? Plus, I have selective laziness. But luckily for me, I was able to sit on the couch for a few months and treat a very severe case of senioritis, all the while contemplating great ideas for my valedictorian speech. Naturally, when I did sit down to start writing, I stared at my screen for a good hour or two with nothing to say. And by that point, I gave up and resorted to Google and searched good valedictorian speeches. The search results always promising, whether it be 10 tips for creating a magical valedictorian speech, or dozens of websites and videos claiming to have the best valedictorian speech. Of course, I scrolled through everything and I happened upon this rather unique one where the Salutatorian and Valedictorian gave a speech together to demonstrate that your dreams depend on the support of those around you. And I thought about this and said, nope, social distancing, and I moved on. There were a few things I noticed that seemed to be a common denominator with basically every single speech. They would each reminisce over the past few years in high school, maybe call out a few graduates for their accomplishments, relay some overly vague advice about the future, and provide a quote from famous people for inspirational purposes, and maybe tell a story or two. And then it was by this point where I was thinking, how did I even get myself into this mess in the first place? Honestly, there are dozens of other graduates who deserve to be in the exact same position as me, and I know for a fact that I am not the smartest or most talented person qualified to even give this speech. Some things you guys can do better than me could be solving differential equations, constructing electrical circuits, writing a better essay, memorizing more flashcards, designing and testing prototypes, or scoring higher on tests. And now that I think of it, I'm not at all qualified to even start giving advice, but fret not. I will still pass on some of the valuable lessons I have learned throughout high school. Number 1, it is okay to make mistakes as long as you learn from them and actively work to fix them. 2, procrastination is definitely not your friend. 3, respect your elders. Just assume that they probably know more than any given subject than you. 4, math is applicable to everyday life. It is merely a problem-solving exercise and there's no way you can convince me otherwise since I'm the one giving the speech. 5, don't let hateful rhetoric get the best of you. And of course I have plenty of more gems of knowledge that I can bestow upon you, but I suspect that you'd rather not listen to me drone on for hours. But more important than any cliche lesson learned statement is the fact that every one of you has faced more than almost every other graduating class in history. We lost the last quarter of our senior year, spring sports, prom, the senior prank, and a traditional graduation. And out of all this, at least we can say that the class of 2020 set the record for senior skip day. Our senior year may be a story of tragedy on the cover, but when you dive into its pages, it is actually a story of how each and every one of you responded with patience and grace when everything in the world seemed to turn against your favor. And in the grand scheme of things, this was just a road bump on life's journey. Or if you're into European-style cross-country like me, a hay bale and a mud pit on the course. What else are you supposed to do other than keep on running forward? I think that's what really separates anyone running in the race of life. You can never finish the race if you never get back up when you stumble or fall, or never push yourself past the obstacles. Some of the more elite will push themselves to run faster and harder than they ever thought they could. All of you can be a part of the elite runners of life, the type of people who will work hard, overcome adversity, and achieve personal greatness. And I want to take a moment to thank all of my teachers for all the time and dedication they have devoted to me, and all of the other graduates here today. Thank you to the staff for maintaining a clean, safe, and healthy learning environment. And thank you to all my coaches who helped me to strive for more than I ever possibly thought I could achieve. And finally, a special thank you to my family who are here with me every single step of the way. Today, we will all officially be regarded as high school graduates. And as graduates, the future holds an infinite amount of uncertainty. But I know for a fact that we are greater than any uncertainty, and that it will always provide the opportunity for us to leave behind a legacy to inspire future generations. Congratulations and best of luck to the class of 2020.
My name is Jocelyn McKinney, and I am Decatur Township School for Excellence's class of 2020 Valedictorian. I graduate with honors at the top of my class with a 3.6 GPA. I was accepted into many colleges, including Ball State University, Franklin College, and University of Indianapolis, which I plan to attend in the fall. I was awarded the Richard G. Lugar Academic Recognition Award for $15,500 annually. Shortly after, I was awarded the Promise Award and the Room Award for full tuition and room and board for UIndy. I was also chosen to be a recipient of the DTSE scholarship. With all of these scholarships, they cover most, if not all, of my college education, and I have so many people to thank for that. Mom, a single mother of 3, you've managed to get 2 of us through high school so far, all while always worrying about money, never treating yourself, and you had to do it all by yourself. I am so proud of you. I hope that once the 3 of us start making lives for ourselves, that you finally make time to focus on making you happy. Serenity, you're always there when I need to talk to you, and I can't tell you how many breakdowns you've saved me through, so thank you so much. My brother, he probably won't ever hear this, but as we were growing up, my brother and I hated each other, and I'd like to think that as we've been growing up, we've gotten closer. A lot of people tell me that my brother and I are just alike, in the sense that we're both really goofy, and I'd like to think that we'll always have that. Kaylee, I have very few people that I actually consider to be my friends. Too many people just come and go in the blink of an eye. Kaylee Hamilton Kelly is not one of those people. You are my favorite person in the world. There's 7 billion and some odd people in the world, but there's only one you, and I'm never gonna stop loving you. I only have so much time, but the rest of my family, my mamas and papas, uncles, aunts, and cousins, I have to thank all of you for being in my life. Growing up with all of you around me has made me the accomplished person that I am today. So thank you. My teachers, I always thought that some of you believed in me too much. Mrs. Gale, Mr. Weimer, Mr. Belch, Miss McCartney, VB. But in the end, I realized that you guys were just trying to tell me that I thought too little of myself and I wasn't shooting high enough. I love all of my teachers, my crew. Thank you for leading me here. Mr. Belch, I still don't think I'm going to be the coding genius that you wanted me to be, but I'll let you know in a couple of years. For now, I hope this is enough. Guys, we're the first generation to emerge from this virus. We may not be holding hands, but we're in this together. We have to come out of this stronger so that we can make something of ourselves. Congratulations, class of 2020. We made it.
Good evening and welcome to the class of 2020 and to all their teams, families, and loved ones. We come to it at last, your favorite part of the evening. The part where some guy you've never met gets up and lectures you on how to live your life like they know a thing about you. Before we get started, I'd just like to say, I'm sorry. I'm sorry I'm not standing in front of you all downtown at the convention center. I'm sorry I'm delivering the speech from my classroom, although it feels appropriate place to deliver a speech that many will text through and ignore. I'm sorry we won't be able to cheer and laugh and wish each other well in person. sorry you didn't get to finish out your senior year in style. I'm sorry we didn't get a chance to say goodbye to those who supported us over the last and maybe the most important 4 years of our lives. But this is not the end of my speech or of your stories. This is just the beginning. I'm really surprised and humbled to be here. I know I'm in good company because I've done a lot of grading over the past 4 years, so I know some of these graduates are equally surprised to be here. I also want to leave you with a few quick disclaimers before I get started. 1. I went to Decatur from kindergarten through 12th grade, so I'm biased when I say DCHS has some of the best students and staff in the world. 2. I was not a model student. Some of the teachers and the administration can vouch for that here. So parents who are worried about your trouble child, there's hope. Maybe one day they'll become a positive role model for others. Not like me. My parents are still waiting. 3. I teach English as a new language. That means I teach people who know other languages, but then come here and need to learn English at the same time as they learn everything else. Because I can only give this speech in English, and because some of my students' parents may not understand, I'm sorry. Also, I don't teach advanced English, so for the quality of this speech and any mistakes in it, I'm sorry. There will also be no jokes about having 20/20 vision. None of you predicted this mess of a year with the passing of dear Kobe, the Rona, the great toilet paper shortage, and the murder hornets. Also, puns are the lowest form of humor, and I hope your dad has already made all of them. If not, fathers, you have homework. I promise I won't take too much of your time or try to act like I know more about your lives than you do. I will just leave you with a few tips that have been helpful to me in the past seniors I've had. There are 100. I will only read them all if I feel like someone isn't paying attention. These are not the most important of the 100 tips. I don't keep these on a plaque up on my wall or anything like that. They're just a few that I picked with the help of my senior CCR class, who was the best CCR class in the history of DCHS. You can't change my mind. I cannot claim ownership of all these tips though, just most of them. The rest, like all good homework assignments, are copied from Google. Firstly, you should apologize. We are going to hurt people in our lives, hopefully unintentionally. Even doctors cannot measure someone's pain, and I don't see many white coats in the audience, or an audience. So if someone says you hurt their feelings, then apologize. Mean it. Don't let it be the end of the story. I'm sorry should be the beginning of a new chapter, one of growth, repair, and assistance. It does not end a story. It begins one. It is the most useful and powerful phrase in the English language. Respect everyone until they give you a reason not to. No one has to earn your respect, especially people you've never met. If everyone worked that way, no one would respect anyone. Likewise, give others a reason to respect you. This is where trust and honesty come in. Be honest to your doctors, to your mother, to your significant others, which means no hiding cell phones and no checking cell phones. And above all, be honest to yourself. Lying to any of those people can leave you alone and depressed. Respecting those people enough to treat them with honesty is all too rare in this world, but doing so will make you one of the few people in this world worth looking up to. However, you should never trust a salesman, an ex, or a stray animal. Always ask more questions. This is solid advice for dating, for family, for interviews. People love to talk about themselves and appreciate a good listener. It shows you care, whether you do or don't. So ask your grandparents advice because they didn't get that old by being dumb. Ask your mother how she's doing on her birthday because it's her day too. Ask the new kid if you can eat with them. Check up on your old friends and your siblings. They can be your bitterest enemies or your best cheerleaders, depending on how loved you made them feel. Ask your coworkers if they need any help with that project or if they just want to unwind from the day. This next one is very important. Ask the maintenance guys at your apartment and the custodians at work what kind of pizza you should order them. They are some of the hardest working and least appreciated people on the planet. However, there is one time you should never ask a question, and that's if you think a woman might be pregnant. You do not want to be wrong. Always make the life decision that leads to the best story. Travel before you have kids. Never be the last one in the pool. Go out dressed like you're about to meet the love of your life. Put in for your promotion. Try the new recipe, or just learn how to cook. Go on the road trip, but make sure you know how to change a tire first. Try out for the team. Hit up that friend you haven't heard from in a while. Go all out on your marriage proposal. Tell the joke. Show your friends and family you love them. Buy the large-sized ice cream. Wear your good Nikes. Adopt that dog. Help your friend move. Attend that party. Live your life like it should all be written down in a book. And with the lecture finished, it's time for what I'm sure will truly be your favorite part of my speech, the end. I just want to say to everyone here in the class of 2020, Felicidades, Tahanina, Felicitacion, Congratulation, Twishimwe, Bongezi, Oku, Orire, Lampinak, congratulations, and I'm sorry.
Class of 2020, this is our final act as Decatur Central High School students.
Please rise.
We started from the bottom, but now we're here.
Now turn your tassel from right to left.
We are now Decatur Central graduates.